Let's return to Plateau State. I'm joined now by the governor-elect Caleb Mutfwang. Congratulations on your victory in the just concluded election. I just want to begin by asking you, how does it feel to be governor-elect right now?
Thank you, Nifemi, and the colleagues in the studio. It feels both exciting and burdensome. For the last 7 years, I've never seen the kind of excitement on the faces of Plateau people like I've seen today. It means that they are truly excited about how this process was concluded, and with my emergence as governor-elect. And at the same time, it makes me know that they have very serious expectations. And so the thought of their expectations puts a burden on my heart that I cannot afford to fail. And so I feel a very awesome sense of responsibility towards the people.
At your acceptance speech, giving gratitude to God and to your supporters and the people of Plateau who have now voted you. It's interesting how the results played out, governor-elect. If you compare, this result with that of the 25th of February, your party, the PDP, came a distant third in the presidential election, and now you've been able to garner more than twice of the figure for the presidential election. How did that play out? Did you see it coming?
Of course, you could have, any keen analyst would have known that Plateau is PDP. Nothing exemplifies that than the National Assembly elections, where at the moment we have 2 senatorial seats out of 3, and we have 5 out of 8 House of Representatives seats. Some of the ones we allegedly lost are still very much in dispute. But that tells you that Plateau is PDP and PDP belongs to Plateau people.
So I have heard you say, at the meeting that you held earlier where you addressed the state, I've heard your party members say you have changed the change, given how highly placed the incumbent governor is within the APC. How do you intend to manage the conflict of interest, the sharp political division that currently exists within the Plateau?
I'm not too sure that the conflicts, as you put it, is so sharp. Yes, there's some level of mistrust, and usually in the build-up to elections, you find a lot of divergence of opinions, and people try to take advantage one way or the other. But after elections are concluded, the next thing you face is the task of governance. And being governor-elect, I'm priming up myself to be governor of all and not just a few. And so we intend to lead by example, show everybody that we can carry everyone on board, and our passion is for the entire state, which is our constituency. And so I believe that with time, people are going to collapse the walls, the artificial walls and barriers they have erected, and see that there is need for us to move together as a people to be able to surmount the challenges that are confronting us.
Governor-elect, I was asking if any of the other candidates have called to congratulate you.
Yes, Nifemi, the candidate of the Labour Party, was quite gracious. He called early this morning to congratulate me, and I appreciate that spirit of sportsmanship.
That's quite obvious because he already even mentioned that he was supporting you before before the election itself. But what kind of collaboration do you foresee during the transition period between you, your party, and the incumbent government?
Well, we hope that the incumbent government will be civil and polite and would know that this is the beauty of democracy, that when one government is exiting, another is coming in, there should be collaboration because all of us are working in the overall interest of the state. And I think that whether you're coming in or going out, the interest of the state should be uppermost in your mind. So we hope that the government will cooperate with us and collaborate with us so that we can be able to move in seamlessly when we take over.
You have been talking a lot about hitting the ground running if you win and also restoring peace to Plateau. Walk us through what you consider your unique program in this regard.
Well, Nifemi, it's not so much of programs as much as leadership style, I guess. When you demonstrate to people that you mean what you say and you say what you mean, and you are able to show by example that you are concerned about justice, about fairness, about equity, that gives some bit of security to people to be able to trust you and deal with you. And I think from that foundation, we'll be able to build up the security architecture from the grassroots right to the point where we can be talking about other security apparatus like the Operation Rainbow on the Plateau, which we intend to revive. But critically, I think it's about managing human beings, managing relationships, and you'll be able to discover that people, confidence is inspired in people. Because security is not so much for me about the presence of the military as much as the absence of conflict. And so when you're able to manage the conflict areas, you spot them quickly and deal with them, you're able to minimize the security challenges that are thrown up. But that is not to say that there are no criminal aspects. And once we find aspects of criminality, we will deal with it in accordance with law. So we've said it in the course of our campaigns that we're going to be strong on the rule of law. We're going to ensure that crime is punished as and when due in the appropriate manner.
It's not all the time that you find a governor who was once a chairman of the local government. You were chairman of the Mango local government in Plateau State. How much impact will that bring as to the relationship between the executive and the local government arm of government, particularly now that we're hearing a lot about giving autonomy to that to that particular structure?
Yeah, I think my experience as local government chairman affords me some great deal of knowledge and experience on how that system works. And I believe that the management of the local government system is going to help me in managing the state at a bigger level. Now, in terms of the relationship between the local governments and the state governments, it's supposed to be a very symbiotic relationship in the sense that governance flows from the state to the local governments to the people, and the local government is able to manage a lot of things on behalf of the state government. And so I was privileged to have worked under a governor who believed in the system, who also built up the system, and I'm going to do same. Of course, the issue of autonomy is something that it's a bit complex, but it's going to involve a lot of legal reforms, because at the moment, a lot of the instruments regulating local governments are under the state control. But I can tell Plateau people that by God's grace, I'm going to ensure that the local government system works more efficiently because I understand the system better.
Plateau's status as center of tourism is highly contended given the security challenge in that part of the country. What are you intending to do differently?
Yeah, very critical to tourism is the issue of security. Nobody is going to come nobody will be attracted to the state because of the potential of conflict. When there is insecurity, tourism suffers. And so as we scale up our capacity in security management, we're going to look at how to particularly engage the private sector in managing the tourism sector. And I believe that within the short run, we can get that up and running. One area to start is perhaps the Jos Wildlife Park, which is within the city center, is not as vulnerable as other tourism sites. So beyond that, of course, we're going to look at how to partner with the hospitality industry and make sure it is standardized so that it becomes a point of stopover for many people. As you know that Jos, particularly the capital, is the gateway to the northeast. We intend to make it more attractive for people to stop over, and that will boost the hospitality industry, and hopefully we can extend it to the tourism industry completely. But scaling up security is very key to building confidence in those who will patronize the sector.
Finally, Governor-elect, pre-election, you've talked about the strong connection between welfare and productivity for security personnel. What does that mean? Are you promising to increase salary? What does that mean for security operatives when you become governor in Plateau?
Well, it's not just about increasing salaries. I think it's about demonstrating that you care. Empathy is key in managing human resources. When people know that you truly care, you are able to cater for their needs within the limits of the resources at your disposal. And that is something we intend to do differently. We intend to demonstrate to our security personnel that we are happy with what they are doing. We feel obligated towards them, and that within the context of our resources, we'll always do the best we can to make sure that the operating environment is made easier day by day. So as our resources improve, of course, we can improve on their remunerations, but I think key, first of all, is that we must demonstrate our capacity for empathy.
Caleb Mutfwang is the governor-elect in Plateau State. Once again, congratulations. Hopefully, you'll be a media-friendly governor, and then we can continue to have such conversations like this to advance transparency and accountability in government. Thank you so much for talking to TVC News.
Thank you, Nifemi, and I hope to engage TVC more and more in the days to come.
Wow, that's a promise that we'll hold on to. Thank you so much for granting us this interview. Away from Plateau, or perhaps we should still stay there. I mean...
Yes, for me, what I enjoyed most in this interview is the fact that he understands that there is a need for local government autonomy.
Indeed.
When you say you practice the federal system of government, you actually have to practice it in total. And the pocket of the insecurity that we are seeing in the country right now is due to the fact that local government is not being, the structure of the local government is not being honored. When you have the local government in place, security would be, there will be more security in the state. There will be there won't be this issue of insecurity in the state.
Hold that thought, Sharon. Let's go on a short break, and when we return, we'll bring you more updates across the country as we follow closely collation and announcement of results. Stay with us.